Hello, it is Foundation Friday, January 10th, 2020. Steve Sipress here with part two in my multi-part series on the great book, How to Be Rich by J. Paul Getty, who was then the richest man on earth. And last week we did a little bit about from the preface or the intro, and going to share a little bit from chapter one, how I made my first billion. Obviously, that's not about me. I haven't done that yet, but J. Paul Getty did. And he talks here about going into the oil business way back, over 100 years ago, known as the Wildcatter, which pretty much describes it, according to Getty himself, that success was basically pure luck. That you were investing in oil leases and paying top dollar, and the next day when you drilled and it was dry, it was worth nothing, and this went on and on. So he talks about perseverance, because his first entire year of buying and drilling wells, and every single time thinking, this is it, this is it, this is it, he failed spectacularly and miserably. But obviously, he kept at it, or we couldn't drive into a Getty gas station today, and he wouldn't have been the richest man on earth. But he does tell a story here that he went into the oil business for himself in September 1914. He had recently returned to the United States after attending Oxford University in England. His original intent was to enter the U.S. diplomatic service. So he went the old route that we hear, at least I heard from my parents, and we hear pretty much from all of society. Oh, go to school, get a real job. Oh, a government job is real secure, and all that kind of stuff. So he did go to school, went to a really good school. Then he came back and wanted to get a government job. Then he says the magic words that eventually led to him becoming the richest person on earth. But I deferred that plan in order to try my luck as an independent operator, a wildcatter in Oklahoma. So the times were booming, but not for him. Failed spectacularly his first year, stuck with it, and made a success out of it, obviously. And he says over and over in this chapter that it's still all based on luck. Fortune seemed to elude me, and on and on. I don't have it all underlined and highlighted, so you just have to believe me. He talks a lot in this first chapter, and hopefully you get your own copy, How to Be Rich, J. Paul Getty, about the luck involved, and yet he also talks about applying science, geology, which back then was frowned upon, and he was called the bookworm and laughed at, that he was going to study his books and somehow come up with a system of where to drill to find the oil. And so he went to school, and that didn't lead to his success. He thought about a government job, realized that wouldn't lead to big success or a lot of fun, like he talks about in the crazy world of being any entrepreneur. As we all know, it's crazy, full of ups and downs and the thrills of the chase. And you never know from one day to the next, or one project to the next, which one's going to work out spectacularly, which one's going to fail miserably. You can't get that from a government job. It's just boring for your entire time. And also he talked about the luck involved. However, he did talk about that, using that geology, using that science. So that's a business lesson here, besides the perseverance and the sticking to it until you, quote, get lucky. But also think about how you can change the way things are done in whatever industry you're in. He changed the way things are done. He studied geology, used book teachings where everyone else made fun of him and called him a bookworm. And then lo and behold, he started targeting oil wells. And he says that out of the 53 that he then drilled, he hit on 52 of them. Completely unheard of course, in those days. And that is a big reason of how he made his first billion. And that'll do it for Foundation Friday, January 10th, 2020. I'll be back here with another lesson from J. Paul Getty's How to Be Rich next Friday, and I'll be back tomorrow on Social Media Saturday with a tip specifically about making money with social media. Thanks for being here tonight, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye bye.